Morning, guys. So this episode's going to be a little bit different because I realize we've never done a day in the life to show you what it's actually like living on a sailboat. So it's first thing in the morning. We're just waking up. So we're going to go through and show you guys what a typical day looks like when you live on a boat in the Bahamas. So let's get started.
We're headed for adventure, our worries left behind. Taken to the water, fun rising like the tide. With open skies above us, we'll be running side by side. Come on away the anchor, we're casting off the line. We're about the destination, the journey is divine. Welcome to the story of living our boat life. We're doing it our own way on Lady K. We're sailing away.
We caught a
on
fish.
Lady K.
In the dinghy that we were towing, and it smells really bad. So we're gonna get rid of him.
So you may wonder why we're all bundled up with the big blankets and everything. It's because we're actually in a marina right now. There was a huge storm that rolled across the southern US sort of like late last week, and it just hit the Bahamas last night. So we decided to pay for a marina so that we would be safe, and I'm glad we did, because last night it was like, it had to be 40 knot winds, and the boat was just all over the place. But anyway, one of the perks of being at the marina is we can be plugged in. And when we're plugged in, we have our little stand-up air conditioner unit. It's just a cheap little office air conditioner unit. But we've been running that the entire time we've been here. So it's nice and cool in the boat. And it has the added benefit of drying the boat out, which is nice. Everything in your boat sort of gets, even like blankets and stuff, sort of get salty and a little bit of wetness to them as you cruise around. But when you run the air conditioner, it sucks all that moisture out of the boat, and it has like a little hose that comes out that we have run down to the bilge. So you hear the bilge pump come on like several times a day. That thing pulls so much moisture out. But anyway, so today's plan is we're gonna get out of the marina and we're gonna go anchor, because following this storm that hit us yesterday and last night, there's gonna be like 5 days of northerly wind. And if you watched our last episode, you know you do not go across the Gulf Stream if there's a northerly component to the wind. So we're going to wait it out here in Bimini, and as soon as we get that northerly to switch to anything else, we're going to beeline it across to Miami. So should be good. Join us today and see how it actually is. Something else we like to do first thing in the morning while we enjoy our morning coffee is check the YouTube comments from you guys so that we can try to reply to some, things like that. It's sort of the morning routine. Check the weather, check the YouTube comments, check your email. So since we're at the dock and it's easy to get water, we're gonna fill our water tank and then take the empty jugs up to the water place and get more water. But speaking of water, since it was a tropical storm last night, let's go see how the dinghy's doing. It had to stay outside all night. Ooh, there's some water in there. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I figured we'd have at least a foot, but it's probably only like 10 inches. Yeah, have to bail that out. It's nice and calm here now though, like the calm after the storm, I suppose. It's not too shabby.
So as you can imagine, the way we walk around everywhere barefoot, the floors get quite disgusting. Sadly, my tiny little vacuum finally called it quits, so sweep by hand every day. Broken. Whoops.
Since we're at the nice comfy dock for another maybe hour or so, we figured we'd better go and get some groceries, because it's much easier just to step off your boat onto the dock than it is to have to take the dinghy into town to get groceries and all that stuff. So we're gonna bang that out right now, and then final steps to untie and move the boat. So hopefully the rain holds off. It's a gloomy day here in Bimini. All right, so the anchorage isn't far from here, so we're actually gonna just take the dinghy real quick, go scope it out and make sure there's room for us before we bring the big boat over. Seems to make sense, because it's not a very big anchorage, so let's go check it out. Interesting thing about this harbor here in Bimini, it is a no wake zone. It's posted everywhere, and there is a $500 fine if they catch you making a wake, unless you're a local. If you're a local, that rule doesn't apply, and that's the law. Weird. This is our intended anchorage for the day. Very small and very shallow. Oh look, here comes a no wake boat now. So much for no wake, huh? So anyway, the anchorage runs from this sign over to these boats, and you can't block that wall. So we'll have to be real careful about where we put Lady K. And there's not a ton of water in here. But we should be able to make it work. I think we'll drop the anchor just here, halfway between the sign and the boats. And that should give us some swing room, maybe just in this way just a bit because there's a channel there. But that should give us some swing room, full circle. The wind is supposed to kind of clock around a few times, so we're gonna need some space. And then I suspect Wes will come over and park next to us, so it'll be all right. But it's nice to see that it's empty. That means we got our choice of wherever we wanna go. I like it. Okay, I think we're ready to get out of this marina and head for the anchorage. So it's, the breeze is blowing us onto the dock, but there's an empty slip behind us, so I think we're just gonna try to back straight up into that empty slip. She doesn't back up well. She doesn't steer in reverse. So straight back into the empty slip, then out and around the shallow spot and down to the anchorage, and we should be golden. Let's go. All right, backing out of the slip. Let the dinghy slide. Cut the wheel all the way that way, and you can see how much we're actually steering. We're not. Slow it down. And forward. And the depth. Bimini is one of the most beautiful places that we've ever been in the Bahamas or anywhere else in the world, and we just happened to be here this time for the Bimini annual homecoming, which has a parade and a huge party, live music, DJs, the works, and the entire town comes out to celebrate. Gorgeous. Okay, well, since all of our chores are done for the day, we are going to head into town a little bit. And I don't think there's really anything going on. They have a big festival going on this weekend, but it's not until nighttime. So there's a bunch of music and stuff over there. We're just gonna take the dinghy in and find somewhere to tie it. Never really been here before, but find somewhere to tie it and go for a walk. So let's go.
One more thing, guys. Just wanted to say a personal thank you to Jason, David, and Joel, our newest patrons. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's it for a typical day of boat life in the Bahamas. There just happened to be a big party, so, I mean, we went to that. That doesn't always happen, and it's not always that crazy down here. It's usually a bit calmer in Bimini, but we got to do it. So, next week, we should be sort of having one last adventure here in Bimini and then making our way back to Florida to refit, repair, and do all that kind of stuff. So please stick with us for the next episode. If you like this episode, please hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. That helps with our YouTube videos quite a lot. And a big thank you to our patrons for making this whole thing possible. Much appreciated.